Bishop Jerry Kicanas is Bishop of Tucson and Vice President of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. He is a personal inspiration to those of us who have worked with him, and I confess to finding, as I was listening to Mr. Blair describe the attributes of an authentic leader and communicator, I could not help but think of Bishop Kicanas. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Bishop Kicanas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good morning to all. And all the things that have been said about Carrie are certainly true. So it's wonderful to be here. It's a great honor to speak to this particular group. It's a great joy to be with some of my brother bishops whose fraternity is a source of great joy. To be with priests, religious, deacons, and lay people whom I have met, many of you at some point along the way, and you have been oftentimes a great inspiration to me. And so it's a great honor to have an opportunity to speak. As cradle Catholics, most of us, I suspect, weren't we proud to hear the reflections of a convert on the meaning of faith in his life? That was fabulous and a beautiful experience. And I know we will pray for Mr. Blair in the tremendously important work that he is doing as part of the quartet to bring peace to the Middle East. It's an area of great and deep concern for all of us. You know, when people meet me for the first time, and already several of you have asked me, how do you pronounce your name? Well, you know, my family don't agree on how to pronounce my name. Some people in my family say Kicanas, as Jeff did. Some say Kicanas. In Arizona, they say Kicanas. My uncle actually changed his name to Kicanas. And my other uncle, who is married to an Irish lady, had to change his name to Kassane because he had a business machine company, and she said they'll never be able to pronounce Kicanas business machines. Now, the next thing people ask is, what is his nationality? And some people think Lithuanian because, as you know, many names end in AS. And when I was rector of my high school seminary in Chicago, Quigley Seminary South, which was located in the heart of Marquette Park, Little Lithuania, they were so thrilled that finally the rector was a Lithuanian until they saw me and they realized I wasn't Lithuanian. Some people think Greek because many Greek names end in AS, but actually both my mom and dad are Lebanese. You can tell Lebanese by their noses. You know, most people, Joe, have to have a certain distance between themselves and another person. Not my uncles. When they speak, they sort of speak like this because their noses are distant enough. Well, first, my thanks for what you in the Round Table do to provide resources for the church in the United States in the areas of finance, human resources, and management. These are not the primary areas in which priests and bishops are prepared, but we all have come to know just how important they are for pastoring parishes and dioceses effectively. You want to help, and you have helped the church in significant ways. And so let the church say, Amen. What you are doing is actually strongly affirmed by the church itself. The Code of Canon Law tells us that the faithful, besides showing obedience to the pastors of the church, in keeping with their knowledge, competence, and position, have the right and at times the duty to express to the pastor their views on matters concerning the good of the church. Last month, as part of an ecclesial conference for the Diocese of Rome on church membership and pastoral co-responsibility, Pope Benedict XVI suggested that our church, the clergy and the laity, needs a maturing of the way lay people are regarded. Lay people are not, he said, simply collaborators of the clergy, but must be recognized as and recognize themselves as co-responsible for the being and action of the church. This is what you strive to do in the Round Table. The church has benefited from your wise counsel and gifts, specifically in the Diocese of Tucson. Michael Broff came in 2006 to speak to our newly constituted parish boards of directors that came into being with the incorporation of our parishes that was part of our Chapter 11 reorganization. His reflections and the roundtable resources he introduced were most helpful and beneficial. Our gathering these days focuses on communication in the church, another area in which the roundtable can be a resource for the pastors of the church. Over the last number of years, the church and her popes have issued an incredible number of significant statements on communication, important for us to reflect upon. Beginning with Vatican II, Inter Mirifica, and then in 1971, Communio et Progressio, followed in 1992 by Aetatis Novae. Bishop Claudio Maria Celli, who is the president of the Pontifical Council of the Social Communications, has indicated that another significant document on communication is to be published soon. The Holy Father each year issues a statement on World Communication Day, reflecting on the role of the media and the church. Communio et Progressio tells us bishops and priests, religious and laity, working with professional communicators will be wise to go more deeply into the problem presented by communicating through the media and to exchange their experiences and ideas. This, of course, is our agenda for these days. Communio et Progressio also tells us that the church has always shown considerable interest in theater, which in its origins was closely connected to the manifestations of religion. I enjoy theater. Perhaps you do as well. In the major seminary, Father Wall will remember, I did some acting. I was given the opportunity to play some wonderful parts. Gideon, Luther, Every Man in The Man for All Seasons, The Artful Dodger. We never made Broadway, or even off-Broadway, or even off-Broadway. But we put our hearts and souls into the performances. And I learned a great deal about the art of communication. I recently saw the play Billy Elliot in New York City. Perhaps you've seen it. David Alvarez as Billy Elliot charmed the audience. One of 3 youngsters who won this year's Tony Award, he convincingly delivers his character with style. You can't help but follow his graceful dance movements and pay attention to his life as it unfolds before you. You see, David Alvarez became Billy Elliot. He wins your heart. Great actors and actresses communicate. They don't just read lines or go through the motions. They engage their audience. They draw attention, elicit feelings, provoke laughter and delight, and even at times terrify.